chips, flavored yogurts, packaged foods, ready-to-go foods, breads, all things like that. And then they gave another part of this group 4 servings or less. And what they found was the group that got 9 servings had 50% more chance of depression, which is insane.
Wow.
Which is insane.
Wow.
And you got to kind of break this down and really think about why was this happening. You know, I would say you're not what you eat, you're what you digest and absorb and assimilate, but you kind of are what you eat as well, because if you're putting in Twinkies, you're going to make Twinkie cells, right? Kind of outdating ourselves because there's probably people on this call who know what Twinkies are. But if you put in something that's healthy for you, then you're making healthy cells. Again, whatever goes into the body, your body's going to use that as fuel. So you have to understand that the foods that we eat, they're either going to strengthen our brain or they're going to weaken our brain, right? Because of what they metabolize into. And so many of these foods, when you have to look at it, it's like the trifecta. You have your salt, you have your sugar, and you have your fats. All right. So it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm for basically inflaming your brain. Because at the end of the day, we don't die of old age. We die of inflammation. These foods, they're driving up inflammation in your body and your brain. So if you look at those 3 things I talked about, the salt, all right, there's salts that heal and salts that kill. So I'm talking about refined salt. We all know those are bad. They raise your blood pressure, not good for your heart, not good for your brain.
But on the other hand, like the Himalayan sea salt or real salt is actually good for, I put that in my lemon water every morning.
Yes.
That actually, it doesn't that acts as magnesium too, doesn't it?
Has over 85 different trace minerals, magnesium absolutely being one of them, in very, very small amounts, but you have 85 of these. So every time we're cooking, I'm using I love real salt. Real salt's it's just amazing. I mean, they mine this from the Great Salt Lake in Utah. It's untouched by human beings. There's no plastics in it. Almost every other sea salt that you find in this world is going to have plastics in it. So,
but not the pink Himalayan sea salt. That's good too, right?
Himalayan salt is also good, but again, like you have to, like everything, you got to really know your source and get a good, decent source of that.
I think this is really important because I think people go, oh, salt. No, salt's bad. No, you need salt. Your body does need salt. How much is too much salt in one day?
I mean, it's not like something I'm going to sit here and quantify. It's like salt is our electrolyte. So there's different kinds of salts. There's the trace minerals. So basically, every time I'm eating, I'm using real salt. I'm using that to basically cook. I'm using that to salt my food, and then I'm having minerals, macro minerals. So I'm having my acid kicking minerals, which is magnesium, potassium bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, calcium citrate. Those are more of your macro minerals, which actually are the most powerful neutralizers of acid. Trace minerals are important, but they're not going to really neutralize the acid like those macro minerals. So you really need both. Magnesium, I know we're going to dive into that being one of the most important ones. So yes, you need salt. And I always say, like, what would you do, or what would happen to the fish if you put them on a no-salt diet? I mean, they would die. So I can't tell you how many clients came into my office and they're like, my doctor told me, I'm having heart issues, blah, 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 stop eating salt. I'm like, that's the fastest way to kill yourself, because your body doesn't run on proteins, fats, and carbs. Your body's electric. It runs through your nerve system, the brain and the whole nerve system, and it needs salt to basically make that happen. That's what gives those nerves the conductivity. So if you stop salt, you're going to die. You lower your longevity. But you're right. It's the right salts. There's salts that kill, salts that heal. So we want those. But this study actually had the bad salts. And then there's sugar. Right? We all know sugar is bad. I was addicted to sugar. Most of us.
Okay, before you get into the sugar, I want to ask you a question, because this is yours that I take every day. This is your minerals. But you've just come out with magnesium pills. Should I be doing both? Yes. So you've got them there. I've got them upstairs because I take it before I go to bed. Is that right?
Great question.
Okay.
Here's the deal with that: is magnesium. It's the 4th most abundant mineral in the body. Calcium is the most abundant. We get way too much calcium. People think that osteoporosis, osteopenia happens from calcium deficiency. No, it's magnesium deficiency. Don't believe the lies the doctors are telling you. All right. So that's the first thing. Now, magnesium, the 4th most abundant mineral, it's the biggest deficiency we have in our body. This is why we crave sugar, because the body uses about 54 molecules of magnesium to neutralize just 1 molecule of sugar. Also, look at like what's going on with our soil. Our soil has become so massively degraded and depleted. You're just not getting the magnesium. And now when you're eating animals, if you're eating animal protein, the animals aren't getting it. And now when you eat the animals, you're not getting it from that. So again, it's like, what are the animals we're eating, right? They're eating less of the stuff that we want. They're getting more of the bad stuff that we don't want, like antibiotics and vaccines and all these like genetically modified organisms and omega-6 fats like corn and soy. That's what they're actually giving them. And we're ingesting that in our bodies. So magnesium, we all need to take it. Our children need to take it. Our parents need to take it. But here's the thing. When you take magnesium in the short run, right, that can help solve a deficiency. All right. But when you take magnesium in the long run without taking other minerals, it will deplete your other minerals. So what I want everybody to do is take those acid kicking minerals, because it's a blend of all the minerals that we need, those macro minerals, to lower inflammation in our brain and our body. But you have to stack more magnesium on top of that, because the reality is that we need about 600 milligrams of magnesium every single day. You'll get, if you're eating like 80% plant-based, Tina, you'll get probably 200 at the most milligrams.
And how many do we need?
You need 600.
Wow.
600.
Okay, okay. So if you just take the magnesium and not all the other minerals, what you're saying is you're actually going to deplete the other minerals.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
So what I do, I take the powder minerals twice a day. I do it about half hour before I go to bed, and I do it either during or after my workout. But then I take the actual magnesium capsule. I take 3 capsules a day. And I've been taking magnesium for a while. So if someone has not been taking magnesium, start with 1. All right.
So that's what I should build up to, doing this twice a day and 3 magnesium pills.
Yeah, I mean, you can take up to even 4 of these, and sometimes even more. It depends, Tina, on how depleted your body is. It depends on how acidic your body is, how much sugar you're eating. Because again, if I'm putting all this crap stuff into my body, it's going to eat up more of my magnesium reserves. Then I need more of that. I have one client that I'm coaching right now. She's taking 8 of these, because when she came to me, she had so much inflammation in her gut, in her cardiovascular system, and in her brain. It was causing massive issues from a symptomatic standpoint. So I didn't start her on 8. I basically kind of worked her up to that. And at some point we'll start to bring her back down, because again, she will get more sufficient in that. So you got to meet your body where it's at. But I always say less is more. Start with a low amount, and then you can add on top. Here's how you know if you're getting too much magnesium. You start to get loose stools. You're on the toilet. So
I was just going to say that. And there's people that take it if you are constipated. It's a great thing.
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah. Okay. So twice a day for this.
Yeah, I mean, minimum, I always say, like, if you're starting out, we don't want to overwhelm you. So minimum, like, you do the greens in the morning. That's how you start out the morning. And then I'll do the minerals at nighttime, minimum once a day.
No, I'm talking about me. I'm already doing this in the morning. Yeah. I do them together. They put them in the greens, and this is the greens too. And I put this and this in aloe vera juice, and I just have it together in like mid-morning or something. So, well, that's amazing. And lack of minerals too would cause depression, I would think.
I'm going to tell you, it is probably the number one. I don't want to say the number one reason, but you have to look at what's the number one neuroprotector of your brain. It's magnesium.
Oh,
neuroprotector of your brain. I did a live on this maybe yesterday or on Tuesday. I did a live on this, and I was talking about how to basically neuroprotect your brain. And so you got to get more magnesium. And it's not just taking a supplement. And I always say you can't supplement your way out of a bad diet. So we have to get more magnesium-rich foods. So
what would those be?
Anything green, chlorophyll, because at the center of that chlorophyll.
I take chlorophyll as well. I take the chlorophyll drops.
I'm not a big fan of the drops, because you're going to probably find some preservatives in there. So when you do the powder, that's chlorophyll, but I'm talking about think green juice, green smoothies, green soups. I want you to think of, there you go, salads. I want you to do more vegetables, sauteed vegetables, steamed vegetables. All right, those are going to basically give you more of the magnesium that you want. And I'm going to tell you that that's the core of a strength eating diet, is those greens. So if you're not getting enough greens, start to add. But the easy way to get it is that green powder that you show. When you take, like, I wake up and my kids, they're 6 and 9. We all go to the kitchen. We'll get like 6 ounces of water.
It's so cute. I've seen that.
It's like
it doesn't taste bad. I've had some greens that are like horrible.
Oh yeah, for greens, they're the best tasting greens you're gonna find. There's nothing bad in it. But if you're like really addicted to sugar, like I was many years ago, when you do your first green juice, it is probably gonna taste bad, because your taste buds are so used to that sugar, they become
Yeah.
desensitized. But what you're going to find is like 10 days, 12 days, 14 days later, you're like, whoa, that green juice actually tastes pretty good. Did I change? Did someone swap my green juice? Is this a different formula? No, it's like your taste buds roll over every 14 days, which is the coolest thing. This is how, I mean, Tina, I was so addicted to sugar. I'm not proud of this. I've coached thousands of clients off sugar. And when I say I was probably number one on the list as far as addiction goes, I'm not exaggerating. That's how bad it was. But
I remember this story. And yet you were way overweight too, weren't you?
I was 50 pounds heavier than I am today. I mean,
that's a lot of weight.
I mean, my pants were splitting down the middle when I was Justin patients. It was crazy.
I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine.
It was nuts. I was the shoemaker with no shoes. I was just a walking contradiction. But it woke me up, and I was like, hey, get on board. Like, raise your standards, Daryl. Like, you're telling all these clients to not have sugar. You're going back and you're eating Nestle's Crunch bars and drinking Coke 3 times a day. I was addicted. Listen, sugar is a drug. It's not a food. It's a drug. It's become America's drug of choice. The average person is consuming 130 pounds of this white stuff every single year. That's 38 teaspoons a day. And get this, here's the problem with that. After 6 teaspoons, you can't metabolize it. Your liver can't metabolize it. It becomes a toxin. So now it inflames your liver, it inflames your blood, but also inflames the brain. So again, like, what's the prime driver of depression? It's inflammation of the brain. So anything that lowers inflammation in your body via diet, via supplements, via managing stress better, doing some biohacking, then you're going to find the inflammation is going to lower. And now you actually start to think better. Your memory's better. Your processing speed's better. Your sustained attention's better. You're able to actually live longer because, again, I measure people's brain age through a blood test. It's so powerful. You have your lifespan. The average person is 82 years old when they die, right? But that's like a bell curve. So obviously, some live longer than that, some live shorter than that. But the average lifespan in our country is 82 for females. For males, it's like 78 or something like that. You guys one-upped us once again. But what we do is, with a prick of a finger, we're actually measuring people's brain span. So I know that someone has the average potential to live to 82. I had a client that came in with depression. So I'm like, we got to test your brain. We got to do an omega-3 inflammation test. And we measured it. She was 40. She had 12 years left on her brain. So when she hits 52, or when she would go to 52, if she didn't change anything in her lifestyle, her diet, supplements, exercise, if she didn't change any of that, once she hits 52, she would require help. Her brain would get to a point where it would start to decay from the inflammation and degenerate, and you couldn't slow it down and stop it anymore. So for her, is that
Alzheimer's?
That is, I mean, yes. New York Times came out with that article a few years ago saying that Alzheimer's parallels inflammation of the brain. 2 years before that, 2018, I watched Get Off Your Acid. I actually put the research in there, and I was talking about how dementia and Alzheimer's is inflammation of the brain. Well, how does that happen? What causes the inflammation? It's not getting enough of those neuroprotectors. So it's magnesium deficiency, not enough omega-3 fatty acids. We'll talk about black seed oil, B vitamins, vitamin D. But what we also found was that when you're getting too many of the bad fats into your diet, omega-6 fats, these are the fats that basically create inflammation. They basically make your brain rot and rust, because you have to understand the brain is 60% fat. All right. And the brain needs fat. It's going to compete for the fat. So if you have omega-3 fats and omega-6s, or you have 25 times more of these bad inflammatory omega-6 fats, guess what's going to win when your brain for the enzymes, the omega-6 fats. So they take your brain out. And I measure clients who you want them to be 1-to-1, the ratio, no more than 3-to-1. The average American pre-pandemic was 19-to-1, bad fats to good fats in the brain. Post-pandemic, 25-to-1. I've measured clients who were 50-to-1. I had a girl in high school with massive depression. She had 88-to-1. It was the worst ratio I've ever seen. And I interviewed a doctor for my first book. His name is Dr. Joseph Hibbelin. And he did a study on murderers and people in insane asylums. And he found that their average ratio was 70-to-1. And what he was saying was that aside from psychotropic drugs, their brains, those inflammatory fats actually change the chemical structure of your brain. And what happens is they make your brain whack. You cannot make rational decisions and choices when you have that much inflammation. So this test that we do, you get on my website, it's not that expensive, like $297. It's the information that it gives you is so valuable because
it's the one that tests your brain.
That's your brain. Yep, you're looking at omega-3 deficiency. You're looking at that ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. It'll actually tell you what your brain span number
Wait a minute. There's 3, 6, and 9 in the omegas, right? And
Yep.
which ones are the not good ones?
The 3s are the most important because the 3s, omega-3s, that's what's in your fish oil, right? So our fish oil has omega-3 fats. So why are they so important? They optimize brain function. They lower inflammation of your body and your brain.
Okay.
Omega-6s are the ones that we're getting in all these processed foods. So going back to that study, it was salt, it was sugar, and it was fat. So we all know sugar is bad for you, but no one's talking about the fat. So when you look at those boxes that we buy in the store, you're going to see soybean oil, you're going to see corn oil, flour oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, grapeseed oil. It's a big one. People think grapeseed oil is a health food. It's not. Grapeseed oil has the worst ratio of any omega-6 fat, 954 to 1. So many of these chefs are cooking with grapeseed oil. So again, you got to know like what oils are going into your food because these are the oils that are killing you. And the problem, the biggest problem with these, Tina, is that, and why they're worse than sugar. 2 things worse than sugar: artificial sweeteners and omega-6 fats. Your body, when you eat sugar, it's going to burn it off right away because your body knows it's a dirty fuel. It's like sugar, bad, let's get rid of it, let's burn it off. The omega-6 fats, you can't do that. The omega-6 fats have a half-life in your body and your brain of 7 years. And we're getting these things in all the time. So this is one of the most important ratios in your body, not just your brain, but your cardiovascular system. It's more important than the cholesterol. It really is. It's ultimately the inflammation that's causing your high blood pressure.
Wow. That's a mouthful, I'll tell you. Okay, so the 3 is the most important. So I do your fish oils every single day, and I do eat I eat the wild caught salmon. I make that for lunch. I wanted to ask you, the greens, how many times a day should I be taking these?
Up to you. Minimum once a day. I take them probably 2 or 3 times a day on average. There's some days I'll take them more, but I take them. I start my day with a scoop of greens, and then I'll have a smoothie later today. I always throw a scoop of greens in there, so that's like a freebie. You want to just kind of get more stuff in that smoothie, and then I'll do another one either like mid-morning or mid-afternoon. So ultimately, I'm usually getting 3 scoops of greens in there. And why I love that. For anyone out there who struggles with vegetables, you still got to eat your greens. I mean, I think it's so important that we eat our greens. But when I start my day and my kids start their day before they go to school with a scoop of that greens, it's a mandatory thing in our house. It's like, and they know by now. It's like we started at 8 months, so they didn't have a choice. It was easy.
Right.
But one scoop of that.
If you take this, it's not going to. I mean, you still have to eat greens. You can't just.
You got to eat the greens because you're also getting the fiber, which is so critical for your gut. I mean, 5% of us are only getting the recommended amount of fiber that we need, 25 to 35 grams. So when you eat your greens, the whole foods, you're getting that fiber. That's the difference between a green juice and a green smoothie. One's not more important than the other.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I did your gut detox. I made the green smoothie. It had nothing to do with the taste. I just can't do the texture of a green smoothie. Why I can do that of a fruit smoothie, I can't. But
so what I want you to do, Tina, is because when I'm doing a detox, I'll do strictly greens, and we have 4 different ones that you can choose from in there. So it's not, the first one is pretty crazy.
I love the gazpacho. Oh my God.
Gazpacho's awesome. That is one of my favorite recipes. But 1 scoop of the green powder is giving you 5 servings of organic greens. So it's kind of like it's your easy cheat in less than 30 seconds. So that's what I love about that. But you're not getting the fiber, right? So one of my little things that I do is in my freezer, I have a few packages of wild blueberries. And what I do is in my smoothies, I take a scoop of my protein powder. I'll either use water or some unsweetened almond milk. And then what I'll do is there's chia seeds in my protein powder, but I always throw extra chia seeds in there. And then I get a half a cup of those frozen wild blueberries. So when I blend it, now it turns purple, gives it that nice, chocolate from the protein. Now that berry flavor, it's like amazing. And then I don't put any ice into it because the berries are frozen. So they're wild frozen berries. So that gives it that nice, cold, creamy texture that you want.
Mine's very similar. First of all, I thought you said that you're not supposed to do chia seeds unless they're been soaked for a little while.
No, chia seeds, when they're emulsified, you don't have to worry about any lectins. I'm talking about the internal shower shot. When you're doing the internal shower shot, what you want to do is get 6 ounces of water, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. You're not blending them. So those chia seeds are whole. So what you want to do, because they're hard, you want to let that sit for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I do it for like 10 minutes. Now what happens, the chia seeds are what we call hydrophilic. They're going to basically soak up to 27 times their weight in water. So they gel up, they plump up. Then you drink that in the whole chia form. And what happens is it goes into all the nooks and crannies of your gut, which has the surface area of a tennis court, by the way. So it goes into all those nooks and crannies that we normally can't get to. And it's that internal shower. It does a gentle cleansing. Look, the average American has 5 to 15 pounds of impacted fecal matter in their gut. So we are basically choking on our own, it's auto intoxication. We're choking on our own poison. So it's a gentle way to basically go in and basically cleanse that gut. But if you're doing a smoothie, they get blended, they're emulsified. You don't have to.
Okay. All right. Because I was afraid to put them in my smoothie. So let me ask you a question. If you think that it's just, now I know these ingredients are good for you, but tell me if I'm having too much sugar in my smoothie. I put the wild blueberries, I put dragon fruit, I put acai, and I put dates. Then I put the protein powder, almond milk unsweetened, and then I put almond butter. It tastes delicious, but is that too much sugar?
It is, yeah. Get rid of the dates for sure.
Oh no!
My kind of rule is like usually just one fruit is all you really need, and no more than a half of a cup. So I would just stick to the blueberries, and that's it. If you want to sweeten up, you can add in some stevia or some monk fruit. But the dragon fruit, I love dragon fruit, so you can add a little bit of that. But the dates are there's a couple reasons. Like I'll add. When I'm doing my chia pudding, like I'll use a couple dates in that, or what I'm doing more now is stevia. The reason why I stopped using dates is that those dried fruits, all dried fruits become so moldy. They're loaded with mold and fungus, and that someone that has been exposed to mold had serious issues with mold. And you know my whole story, and the story keeps going. It's incredible. So anything that has those mold or it's sourced from mold. Mushrooms, I don't even put into my body or my diet.
Right, and I know you have to be careful of mushrooms, and especially if you do have gut issues. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. You know who Alyssa Goodman is?
I don't know her personally. Sounds familiar, but
I had her on recently, and she was talking. She loves it. She said it's not for everybody. Like people that have taxed adrenals, it's not good for. So. What's your opinion on intermittent fasting?
I love it. I think it's one of the most powerful biohacks for longevity and for reversing the aging process. I do it all the time. It's very in vogue. So many people hear about it, they start it, and they kind of end up quitting after a few weeks because they might lose weight in the beginning, but then they plateau because they're doing it wrong. You cannot intermittent fast every single day, especially if you're a female. So you have to kind of switch it up. So what I do, most of us have heard of the typical 16-8 window where 16 hours of the day you're fasting, and there's ways you can cheat the fast. We can talk about that. But 8 hours you're actually putting food in your body.
I actually am doing only 6 hours of eating.
You can do 6 hours. So what I do is on Monday, Tuesday, and Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I do 16-8. Wednesday, I do what's called like a warrior fast, where I push the hours. So you'll do 6 hours, you can push it to 18, or you can even go to 20. You can even do a 24-hour fast, depending on how you feel. Now, if you're starting out with intermittent fasting, you're not going to be ready for that. I mean, the average American eats 17 times a day. All right, you can't go from 17 times a day to 2, let alone 1 meal a day. You're going to go nuts because the insulin, you have insulin. So what I have my clients do is, and I outline this in my new book, Get Off Your Sugar. What I have them do is take those bad snacks and start to swap them with good, healthy snacks. That's the first thing that you do. So instead of having like chips, get some like vegetable sticks and the dressings that I have. There's a dressing in my book called Dr. Darrow's Favorite Dressing because I created it, and it's like
that's the one I used on my salad, and that has dates in it.
Right. So a little bit of date is fine, right? If you're not mold toxic, mold sensitive. Otherwise, you can put other different types of sweeteners in there, or you can just take them out. But that is one of the most insane dressings. I'll put out an entire plate of vegetables for my kids. They won't eat it. You put that dressing out, they're gone, right? But like something like this, macadamia nuts. Like this is one of my, by the way, macadamia nuts, they're a little expensive, but this is a great way you can cheat your fast. So for people that have trouble in the morning and they can't eat food because they're fasting, if you have some macadamia nuts, it's not going to break your fast.
How many?
Oh, a handful.
Okay, so tell us what there is a rule that what breaks the fast.
Basically, carbohydrates are going to make your fast. It's like even something like lemons. If you have too much lemon in your water, because a full lemon has 3 grams of carbs, right? That is about the limit where you're going to break your fast. But if you put a quarter lemon slice in your water, which is 1 gram of carb, that will not break your fast, right?
Okay,
So
all right.
protein is going to break your fast. Carbohydrates are going to break your fast.
And the chia seed, because that's why I haven't been doing the internal shower, but two tablespoons is going to break your fast, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, and you gotta remember that it's also based on your body's bio-individuality, because we metabolize these things differently. Chia seeds, I love them because they're loaded with omega-3 fats. They have 20% protein. They're high in minerals. There's fiber, but there is a little bit of carbohydrate in it. So you do have to be a little bit careful with the chia seeds.
Do you do it when you're fasting? Do you take the internal shower, or do you wait till after you break your fast to do the internal shower?
I usually wait till after I break my fast.
Okay.
But there are times that I will do it, but I won't. I'll just do less of the chia seeds. I'll just do a few teaspoons, and then you'll be fine. But like when I'm doing my stuff, like I'm usually on it, and I go pretty hardcore. But like I'll have macadamia nuts. That's my go-to. You can have black coffee, herbal tea. Those things won't break your fast, but they just
this is like, I can't live without this. When I drink coffee, this
yes.
this alkalizes your coffee, and you said it doesn't break your fast, which I was so happy to hear about, because I do not like
it. It's your coffee's acid. That is like my favorite product. I love it.
It is, and it comes in all. My favorite is the mocha, but it acts as a natural creamer. It's got fat burning enzymes. It's got MCT oil in it. Yeah, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah, and the key component, which is the minerals, that basically fights the acid. And listen, there's a lot of benefits to coffee, but the one huge downside with coffee is that it's so acidic. It is massively acidic that it's going to, you talked about your adrenal glands, it will actually suppress your adrenals. It's going to suppress your liver function. So when we neutralize that acid, basically now you're getting the upside of that coffee minus the downside.
Right.
Tastes amazing. We have amazing flavors. My flavor is the hazelnut, because I put some brain boosters in there as well, in addition to what you have in there.
You put what in there?
Brain boosting nootropics. They're awesome.
What's that?
Lion's mane, L-theanine.
I put in. I've been putting lion's mane in, and the other mushroom, another mushroom, but it's not all together. So this is all together. What you're saying that you're putting in?
The hazelnut version of the coffee is I call brain boosting acid kicking coffee. So the vanilla, the salted caramel, the mocha, those ones don't have the brain boosters. The hazelnut has the same formula that those other ones have, but in addition is brain boosting nootropics. It's killer.
Why didn't you put in the other ones?
You said all I want is mocha. I'll send those to you.
I didn't know that they didn't have those. I want the hazelnut.
I'm going to send you a hazelnut.
All right.
It's not, not
what
every...
I'm saying is, why didn't you put it in the other one? Why didn't you put it in the vanilla?
A couple of reasons. Not everybody, believe it or not, wants that. It also is more expensive, So I want people to be able to kick their coffee's acid and make it more affordable as well.
This way I don't have to buy separately the lion's mane and everything else. No brain.
So you'll get it in the hazelnut, which I love. But again, it's all about like fitting this into your lifestyle, because there's so many things during the day that take us out one by one. Maybe not a big deal, but by the end of the day, they all stack, and then no wonder why we feel like crap at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. And you look at like sleep. Sleep is so important. So many people are having trouble sleeping, which is when our body regenerates and heals itself and restores itself. And they think that they can't sleep, so they start taking like stuff right before sleeping. But no, if you want to have better sleep, it starts with what you do from the moment you actually wake up.
Yeah.
You got to basically do these things throughout the day. And the more inflammation we can lower, then the body doesn't have to work as hard when it goes to sleep, because that's ultimately why we don't sleep. The body is most acidic around 3 o'clock in the morning. So when people wake up, usually it's around 3 o'clock. Well, why is that? That's the high acid time. That's when the liver is basically working hard to basically cleanse, detoxify. It's dumping out all those toxins into your microbiome. Well, guess what? Your body's got to deal with this on its own. So if you don't have the necessary minerals, that's why I have people take minerals at night, magnesium and those minerals. They don't make you sleepy. You can take them in the morning like you do, Tina. They don't make you sleepy. The reason why you get better sleep, better, deeper REM sleep, is because they're neutralizing the acid. So now your body doesn't have to fight so hard, work so hard to do all that regulating on its own when it's sleeping. It can now just do what it's designed to do, which is get deep sleep.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Wow. Okay. You know, I mean, I could talk to you forever. Let me just look at my list here. We talked about that.
So
You know, there's
you
all
want to,
these.
can I do one more minute on fasting?
Absolutely.
So basically, you're swapping bad snacks for good snacks. Then the goal is to remove those snacks. So now you're going 3 meals a day, right? And you do set your own your own timetable. So now I'm at 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's say I'm eating breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing lunch at 12 o'clock. Then what I have my clients do is they start to take breakfast and move 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Do that for one day, do that for 3 days, whatever. And then you go to 10 a.m., then to 11 a.m., then to 12. Congratulations. Now you've met intermittent fasting because breakfast and lunch have joined together. Now you're eating 2 meals a day at 16:8. So basically, that is what I do on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll push the fast like you do. I'll do 18 hours or I'll do even 20 hours. Then what happens on Thursday and Friday, I go back to 16:8. And then this is important. On Saturday is what I call a feast day. I go back to 3 meals a day, because what happens with people who intermittent fast every day, eventually, and this is why they lose weight in the beginning, and now the body will gain weight at some point. Like, I'm not doing anything different. Anytime you switch it up, your body's gonna lose weight. Even if you're doing something bad and healthy, usually the body loses weight because it's a change. But what happens is the body starts to go into starvation mode because calorie deprivation. That's why you got to eat healthy fats. So eventually, the body's like, wait a minute. I don't know when that next meal is going to come. I'm going to actually start to hold on to fat, hold on to weight. And then what happens is we start to gain weight. So on Saturday, I'll eat that extra meal in the morning, and I'll throw in some like more fiber-rich, slow-burning carbs that day, like wild rice or quinoa or sweet potato with cinnamon and coconut oil, or maybe some root vegetables or some.
So that would be like your cheat day kind of thing.
Yeah, but
right?
it's
not cheating. It's just adding more
fasting, but you're not really cheating. You're actually maximizing now, because now the body's like, wait a minute, I'm not starving. I'm still getting healthy food in. Now I can burn fat more.
Yes.
And for women who are menstruating, this is super important, because the week before the cycle starts, that's when the body actually starts to use its hormones. Like, it needs progesterone, and we need some more of those healthy carbs. So that's when you need more insulin, a little bit more of the carbohydrates. So what I have my clients do that last week before the menstrual cycle starts is I have them increase the healthy fiber-rich, slow-burning carbs in their diet. That's when you really want to do less of the intermittent fasting, because you actually need those fiber carbs to create the hormones that your body needs.
I see. Okay, that clarifies it. Anyways, that does make sense. I mean, you know, your body's going to think it's starving and it's going to hold on to everything. So there's so many different things, and I know you're a huge anti-aging hack guy, right? And I asked you, like, this company found me, and it's NAD pads, NAD. I don't know exactly what that stands for. And asked you, I text you, and you said that you take the shots. You take shots every day, right?
Every other day, I give myself a shot. IM intramuscular right into my stomach.
Okay, so this is a so you do believe in that, and that it's a molecule that basically your body makes, but it stops making, and that's why you need to replenish it. Correct?
It's so important, Tina, as you know. It literally fuels every metabolic function in your body. Every cell has NAD. And as we get older, just like collagen, the body makes less and less of it. So that's why it's important that we supplement with it. You know, even B vitamins, your body needs that B3 niacin that's going to actually help make NAD. But I love taking NAD because of what it does to my brain. I mean, NAD is one of those powerful ways to reverse the aging process. It will lower inflammation in your brain and the body, but like, it's amazing for brain fog, which is, you know, something that I went through very severely when I got hit with mold. I mean, like, it's not brain fog, it's brain debilitation, and NAD is critical. It helps the body do something called methylation, which is it opens up your detox pathways. It helps your hormones, so it helps balance your hormones. It helps your microbiome. I mean, there is nothing that it doesn't do. Think about this. This is the analogy I'll give. NAD is to like your cells as to what gas is to your car. Like, you need gas to make your car go. If you don't have NAD, your cells don't go. And if your cells don't go, guess what happens? You die.
Yeah, you're going to die, right? Well, okay, so I'm representing this product. I've been using it now, and like I said, it couldn't be easier. You just put the pad, right? I mean, patch right
Yep.
on your body. You wear it for 24 hours, and then you take it off. And so,
Amazing. Where do you put the patch?
anywhere on your body that you don't have hair,
Cool. And so you wear it for 24 hours, and then what
Yep.
happens next?
and then you take it off, and you can wear it 5 straight days. And they give you 6 patches for a month. You can do it every single day for a maximum. You could probably do that, and then you just wait, and then you do it again the next month, or you do one, and then you don't put it on for 5 days. You spread it out a little bit.
I love it.
Because,
I love
yeah.
it.
So yeah.
How
So
long have you been using it for?
Huh?
How long have you been using the patch for?
Well, it's been so crazy lately, Dr. D, because I've had so many things in the air. So they sent me the 1 month. I screwed up 2 of them because I was like, how do you do this? And it's a little bit of a science project. And so now they just sent me 6 more. So now I'm going to start tomorrow, and then I'm going to do a full report.
Amazing.
And yeah, I'm so excited to be promoting this, and they found me. How about that?
Yeah,
So
I can't wait to see how you feel. And it's awesome, promoting the things that change your life. It's like all the things that we talk about, they're things that we use every single day because they've changed our lives. And we've been through some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thanks to you. I mean, I was a mess when I met you. I mean, my gut was a mess. I was depressed. I was anxious. I wasn't sleeping. I thought I was going insane. I really thought I was ready for the loony bin. I mean, when I say that, I'm not saying that lightly. I actually said to my doctor, I need to go someplace.
No, Tina, I get it. I can't say, going back to the whole depression, which, started this whole talk today. We have to understand that there is a gut-brain connection. They call the gut the second brain. I actually call it the first brain because 80% of your nerve system lives in your gut. 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. 95% of the serotonin that your body needs, like your happy hormone, your happy feel-good hormone, is not made in your brain. It's made in your gut.
Yeah.
So when your gut is toxic, which every gut is, that's why I tell people, you got to test your gut. Everybody's got to test their gut, especially if you're having any brain issues, if you're having depression or anxiety, because what happens is we get the gut. It's like the healthy microbiome in your gut. I call it the peacemaker of the brain. It's like all those healthy microbes is what we need. That's like your probiotics. But what happens is because of our diet, our crap diet, because of stress, because of stealth pathogens, which we get from the water that we drink, from the air that we breathe, from the food that we eat, we cannot escape the toxins. They go into the gut and they start to basically cause all those bad microbes, what I call the weeds of the garden, to overtake your gut garden. Now those bad microbes like Streptococcus and Klebsiella and Pseudomonas, Citrobacter, these are all bad bugs in your gut that we test for, that so many people have. They start to eat their way through your gut lining, called leaky gut, and then guess where they go? Boom, to the brain. To the brain. And there's something called, and what happens is these bad bacteria, they make something called endotoxins. It's like it's bad bacteria poopy, right? And these endotoxins, one of them is called LPS, lipopolysaccharides. It's proven in the research to cause depression. And the problem is now we get depression, anxiety. We go to a typical allopathic doctor. They're just kind of looking at the brain, but they're not looking at maybe there's another root cause of this thing. And the bigger problem is we don't get to the root cause and start to clean up the gut and fix that leaky gut. The same exact pathology that causes anxiety and depression in your brain, which is inflammation from these stealth pathogens, if left unchecked, will cause dementia, will cause Parkinson's. It's the same pathology. The only difference is more time allowed to basically cause brain atrophy and inflammation of the brain. So taking care of your gut is the most important thing you can do right now. The gut is under attack. It's under assault 24/7. This is why Hippocrates said it the best. Father of modern medicine. Look to the gut. It's the cause of all disease. And he was right.
Well, it's just, I'm sorry, but it infuriates me that traditional doctors, that's why most people don't understand this. And then they say, oh, well, if that was true, my doctor would have told me that. And it's just not discussed enough.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's like I know some amazing functional doctors that look at this stuff, but most of them don't. You're absolutely right. So they'll do a comprehensive blood panel and you'll see all the inflammatory markers jacked up, like homocysteine and high sensitivity C-reactive protein, SED rate. But the question is why are these inflammatory markers jacked up? So they'll put them on anti-inflammatory or
right. They'll put them something to lower them, but it's not getting to the root cause of and then you've got then you've got these prescription medications inside of you. I mean, I could go on and on about this, antibiotics and okay. So with all these supplements, and this is kind of a question for me, more my brother, because he probably takes more than me, but if like, for example, I just got a multivitamin. If I'm doing all this other stuff, do I need a what is the basic of what somebody needs? Because
I'm going to give you the 5 basics, but let me talk about the multivitamin first, because there's a few problems with the multivitamin. Number 1, there are so many freaking ingredients in the average multivitamin. It looks great to the average consumer. Like, wow, I'm getting all this, like 100,000 ingredients, right? I'm exaggerating, but there's not enough of one single ingredient to make a marked difference in your body. So that's the first problem, okay? Less is more. We got to understand that. The other thing is that you have to look at what else is in there. So many of these supplements, these multivitamins, they'll put in copper. Copper is a neurotoxin. Copper will cause brain damage and will cause cognitive decline. Now, what are the 2 top causes? Now, copper in a whole food form is essential. We need that form of copper. So if you look at my greens, you'll see copper on that ingredient panel. It came from whole grain food. That form of copper is good. But when they add copper to a multivitamin, that's a different form of copper. That will actually go up to the brain and cause plaquing that can lead to inflammation and dementia. And you should not have more than 100 micrograms, mcg, of copper in your multi. So take a look at your multivitamin. And if you have more than 100 micrograms, throw it out or give it to somebody that you don't like. So for those reasons, and then you see all these other like ingredients like citric acid and preservatives and maltodextrin. There's just so many crappy things in it. So you don't need a multivitamin. Here's what you need. These are the big 5. Number 1 on the list, and this is research proven. I talk about this in both of my books. You need to take a magnesium supplement.
Okay.
All right. So again, I'm not here to push my products. The reason why I made a magnesium supplement is because of the deficiencies in a lot of the other ones. So this one, why I love it, it's got 3 different forms of magnesium, medical grade, most bioavailable, that target your gut, magnesium citrate, your heart, and the brain. All right. And one of them is bisglycinate, which is chelated. So it's very, very powerful. So we need to get magnesium as number 1. Number 2, omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil. Okay. Yeah. So the average adult needs about 3,000 milligrams of fish oil. So if you were taking mine, that would be 3 soft gels. I take 1 with lunch, 2 with dinner.
Oh, God, I've only been taking 1 a day. I should be taking 3?
Well, 1 is better than nothing, but now I want you to go to 2.
Okay.
All right. Do that for basically a week, and then you can go up to 3. Yes, you're going to need about 3,000 milligrams. Your diet is very, very healthy. I mean, you're super, super clean and healthy. So you're probably not going to have as many omega-6s as the average American. But again, like I still take 3 omega-3 soft gels every single day. Now, children need a different form of fish oil. Like my kids they can't swallow supplements, but kids need more DHA. So I give my kids a liquid fish oil at nighttime and magnesium before they go to bed. I basically line up in a train. So they need more DHA. All right. But us as adults, we need more EPA. So in line, you get EPA and DHA, but you get more EPA. So yes, please take 3. That's number 2. Number 3 is a probiotic. Yeah. Super important. We get 1/1,000,000th the amount of probiotics that our ancestors used to get. We have to take a probiotic. I like to rotate my probiotics. I'm not affiliated with any company, but I like to switch between Megaspore Biotic, which is a sport.
That's what I take.
You're taking that, right?
Yeah. Why do you switch though?
What was that?
Why do you switch?
Because just like exercise variation, your body needs diet variation. You want to get probiotic variation. Now, when someone's on one of my protocols, depending on what's going on in their gut, I had you on Megaspore Biotic for about 4 months. The reason why I did that for you is Megaspore Biotic it's got a great diverse amount of probiotics, but it also can heal leaky gut. And it did a study in about 30 days, 44% of leaky gut in 20-year-olds was healed. But what it also does, it can nudge out some of the bad pathogens in our gut. But once someone's gut is doing better, like yours is now, I switch it up. to something like a Claire Labs Therabiotic, which is a more terrain-based probiotic. Now you're going to get, now when you have to refrigerate, right, because it's more terrain-based, you're going to get more of your Lactobacillus, Plantarum, things like that. So basically, you're getting more seeds into the garden. Just Thrive is very similar to Megaspore Biotic. It's a spore-based probiotic. So again, different probiotics, but again, just start with one, right? That's the third one. And then number 4 and 5 is D3 with K2. So this is
Yes, I love that.
K2.
That's another
And,
one of the products.
I would say, again, on average, the average person needs about 5,000 IUs, which would be half of a dropper, which I take at breakfast or lunch.
That's what I do once a day.
Once a day. But you have to know your D levels.
Right.
You have to know your D levels. Like now it's fall time. I mean, you're in California, I'm in Naples. We're in sun more than like people up in New York are, where I used to live. But like people more in the the northern climates, they need more D. But again, I have clients down here I measure and they're like 20. They're in the basement. Like vitamin D is not a vitamin, it's a hormone. Everybody, your kids, like my children started vitamin D like when they were super young, like as babies. It's so important, but you have to give the right amounts depending on what ages we're at. But test, that's my mantra, test, don't guess. You should always know every year where your vitamin D levels are at, because you want to land in that like 50 to 90 range. You don't want to be below that, but you also don't want to be above that too. So if you're in that zone.
I learned that when I had breast cancer. They said that most women that get breast cancer are deficient in vitamin D.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I see that all the time with my cancer patients, all the time.
Wow. Well, so that's for that. So DK, probiotics, fish oil, magnesium.
Those are your big 5, right?
Yep.
Those we all need, no matter how bad your diet is or no matter how good your diet is. You need to start there. It's easy. And the cool thing is, like on our website, we have 4 of the 5. The only one that we don't carry is the probiotic. So that's what we have to take no matter what. And then and of course, the greens, the minerals, like that's us. And then like on top of that, there's so many other supplements that I take just because of stuff that I've went through in my own personal health. So I'm taking a binder because I'm still getting the mold out of my body. Digestive enzymes. So if I test someone's gut, we'll test to see if they're actually deficient in digestive enzymes, which means you could be eating the best food, but you're not breaking down and metabolizing that food, getting that into your cells for energy. So I take a digestive enzyme right before my first bite of the meal so that I can assimilate my proteins, my fats, and my carbs better. There's a whole bunch of other things that I take. But
I think it was you that told me that you should take your vitamins like 15 minutes into eating, right? So that you already have food in your stomach, right?
Yeah, so like your probiotic, I have people take it the biggest meal of the day, and I'll have them take that in the middle of the meal. My fish oil, I take in the middle of the meal because all of the digestive juices are flowing and you're going to be able to digest everything better. For someone that takes a fish oil, like on an empty stomach, they might get a fish burp. It's not because the fish oil is bad, or it may be bad depending on the company, but it's also because you're just not digesting that fat because your enzymes are off or you don't have enough bile salt from your gallbladder. So, I think it's important. The magnesium is so pure, you could take this on an empty stomach or with food. So what I do is I take one with lunch, I take one with dinner, and then I take one before I go to bed with my minerals. So I take 3. So it doesn't matter if it's with food or without food.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start that today too. And then the black seed oil, that's one of your other newest.
I'm so glad you brought that up. The black seed is my secret weapon for longevity. I call it a secret weapon, but I talk about it all the time. But this is the one that people don't use this one. It's right now with fall, it's my number 1 supplement on the list. It is the number 1 supplement on the list. I have it right over here. So black seed oil, it comes in this little chlorophyll green capsule, right?
Yeah.
This is the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory you're going to find. I love turmeric, curcumin. I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. This is 3 times more powerful than turmeric, than curcumin. Turmeric is a new one. Curcumin. It's 1,000 times more active than vitamin E as an antioxidant. The active ingredient in this is something called thymoquinone. I actually sourced this from Israel through a good friend of mine, and our black seed oil has 3 times more thymoquinone than any black seed oil you're going to find anywhere. It's incredible. So when you take this with food, because it's a very powerful oil, stronger than oregano oil, very powerful. So take it with food. But here's my hack. This is one of my most powerful hacks for inflammation. If you take the black seed oil at the same time you take your fish oil, there's a synergistic effect on inflammation. So by themselves, they're both very powerful. But right now, with like flu season, which I don't believe in the whole thing called flu season, I'm not going to say the C word. About your body's resistance, your body's resilience, right? But right now, like, there's over 1,000 studies on this. This is one of the most powerful reducers of spike protein inflammation in your body. So this is so great.
So this would be good for somebody that's taken the vaccine.
It's good. Yes, good for anybody. It's good for anyone that has that's going through, COVID, or that has a flu, or even a cold. But like I tell my clients, take one of these a day. Like I take 2 of these a day. It's that powerful.
I thought you said less was more.
I was talking about your multivitamin.
All right. So should I be taking 1 or 2 of these a day? And if I take these, because I'm taking the turmeric capsules as well, do I not need to buy those anymore?
You do not need turmeric. You do not need it. This is 3 times stronger than turmeric.
All right.
By the way, they've done over 1,000 studies on this. One of them is an actual human study on blood pressure. Have you ever seen an actual study on vitamins? Rare. You see them on drugs, and they're usually funded by the drug company because they're so expensive. They actually did a study on blood pressure in human beings on black seed oil, and they found it so powerful at lowering blood pressure. Why was that? Because what causes high blood pressure? Hypertension, inflammation in your cardiovascular system. So what does this do? Lowers inflammation in your brain and your cardiovascular system. So now your body can actually balance its blood pressure in a more healthy way.
Awesome. I'm so glad I brought that up.
Me too.
I mean, I know that I heard you talking to somebody about the synergy between the two. So I always make sure that I take them together.
Yeah.
But wow, what a powerful, and you've got a new product coming out, and I know we can't talk about it, but let me tell you, people, it's going to blow your mind. And when is it going to be out?
Oh gosh, I don't have an exact date yet, but it'll definitely be out in the fall before the holidays. I'm hoping, like, I'm going to say 6 to 10.
Before the holidays is a very good idea. And that's an insight.
You're going to give it away. You're going to give it away. I promise.
I'm going to figure it out.
I promise when it comes out that we will go on a live and we will talk about it. I'm going to show you something really cool to show how this product works. It's going to blow people's mind away, and it's going to make them feel a lot less guilty about something that they're doing.
Exactly. Me included. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. D. It's always such a pleasure. Anybody that's watching, I highly suggest I have all of his products. I take them every single day. Like I said, when I met Dr. D, I was not doing well at all, and I'm feeling like amazing. The only thing is I miss my son, but I can't really qualify.
I just gotta say, like, I gotta acknowledge you. You're kicking acid in every way. You look amazing. I mean, your skin is glowing. Your energy is up there. Like, you embody what this acid kicking lifestyle is all about. So if anyone's out there struggling, just like do what Tina's doing, and you will get results. So, and thank you for always like having me on and helping me get my word out there, because this is what it's all about.
Exactly.
People are struggling right now more than I've ever seen. People are anxious. They're depressed. Mentally, we're off our game, and it's all coming down to just the stress in our lives.
A lot of people, it's just old age. No, it's not. You're not supposed to feel that way. We rationalize it away. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or, my mom was anxious, or, that runs in the family.
It's not genetic.
Yeah, it's not genetic.
None of these diseases are genetic. Cancer is not genetic. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, they're not genetic. They're epigenetic, which means you can turn the genes on or off based on your lifestyle choices. So you have to understand what you're dealing with out there, guys. Please, like, you have hope. You have hope. You just got to start to add things into, like, we talked about a ton of stuff today. Just pick one. Maybe it's the magnesium. Maybe it's the black.
Well, absolutely the magnesium. And I would say, out of everything, the magnesium. Well, the magnesium is a no-brainer with the minerals. The greens, I don't know how you cannot not do that. And then the omega and the black seed. I mean,
and have that mindset to start taking all those. But for some people, like, they're not like where we're at. I remember when I first started. It's like, slow and steady sometimes. So, if you got to start with one thing, whatever resonated with you, what was your gut sense, right? No pun intended. But then you start to add. And before you know it, wow, now I'm on all these. Wow, now I'm really feeling good. Now I'm better. What next? Now maybe I want to test my gut with Dr. D, right? So like, just meet yourself where you're at. If you're an overachiever like us, yeah, you can start with all 5, right? But again, just start to add. That's the best thing, especially now that the holidays are coming up around the bend. We know, stress eating happens this time of year. We don't want to get suckered into that. So we have to basically start to add things in that strengthen our body, strengthen our minds. That's going to lower the inflammation that's causing these anxious feelings. And when you do that, you're going to be amazed at like what starts to happen in your life. It's a ripple effect.
It is absolutely. And so for everybody that's tuning in, all of Dr. Daryl's products, if you put the promo code in 15, you'll get 15% off your order.
Yeah.
And if you do subscribe and save, that wouldn't work. But if you do subscribe and save and have it delivered every month, you do get, I think it's probably about the same amount, right?
Yeah, 15%. So if they want to get an ongoing discount, that's what they can do.
And then if they want to have their gut tested and they want to go to see you for that, you're also offering.
We're giving all of Tina's tribe a $400 discount on the gut testing. It's something that we never do. It's take advantage of it because you don't see that often, and it's powerful. I mean, normally it's like around $2K, but we're giving a discount for $14.97. We will send you our GI Map kit, which is the DNA stool sample kit, which is the most important test you can do, bar none, right now. Everybody, I just did it on my daughter Aaliyah. She's 6 the other day. She came, I've been telling her for weeks, I'm like, Aaliyah, we got to get your poopy. We need to do a poop test. She's like, no, dad. And then the other day she comes, she's like, Daddy, it was like 9 o'clock. I'm like, Daddy, I got to go poop. Let's go. It was so cute. I'm like, only with like my 6-year-old daughter can I say it was cute taking her poop sample. Like it's critical because that's how I found out about my son Braden's neurologic tics. Doctors diagnosed him with Tourette syndrome. He didn't have Tourette syndrome. He had a stealth pathogen in his gut called Streptococcus, which is a invisible ghost. It's an invisible killer. You don't know it's there, so you don't know it's taking out your brain. And it was literally causing leaky gut and causing this inflammation of his brain, causing these tics that conventional doctors just say, hey, we're going to label him with Tourette's. No, BS. You're not going to do that to my son. So test, don't guess. And I tested him and boom, there it was. It's something called PANS Panda, which is a hidden strep infection in your gut that affects the brain and causes these neurologic tics. So I put him on my protocol. 5 months later, tics are gone. That was 3 years ago. So
And
again, yes, so you do the GI Map.
That doctor said your son's life would have been completely different. So
Yeah,
thank
mine too. Stealth pathogens. It's we got to talk more about it. So you'll get the GI Map kit, you'll get the MRT food sensitivity kit, and you'll get the results back. And then what happens once those results come in? You're going to hop on a 45-minute lab review with me, and I'm going to basically review those findings with you. I'm going to show you what you're doing right, but then I'm going to actually tell you everything that we found that is not good, that is affecting you. I'll answer your questions, and then we can give you a couple options of what to do about that. But this is strictly a lab review, and I'm telling you, it will change your
It's a game changer. It's a life changer. Absolutely. I mean, because the way I was, I didn't want to live anymore. That's the way I felt. I felt that bad.
Wow.
I'm like,
wow. I need, you know what? When you get a chance, I would love just like a short video testimonial because your testimony is so powerful. People need to hear that.
oh, okay. I'll do that for you. No problem.
That's awesome. I love
Video
it.
one? You want a video one?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
I'll do it.
again, like it's amazing. So, I mean, how many testimonials we get like this, and why is this? Because we're finding the root cause of people's issues. If you have thyroid imbalances, hypothyroidism, it's usually a gut issue. If you're having hormonal issues, you got to look to the gut because it's the inflammation that's making your hormones all out of whack. If you're having depression, anxiety, I mean, all these downstream
What about
symptoms.
diabetes?
What's that?
What about diabetes?
Diabetes parallels inflammation as well. I mean, you got to look at what's driving that. Diet is a big part of that. But yes, the microbiome is a wreck when you look at these diabetic patients. I have so many of them. I was pre-diabetes when I started looking at my gut. It was crazy.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So yeah, the gut is critical. And
well, you ate all that sugar too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where all the inflammation starts though. But look at the pancreas.
All day, but while I do have you, I just have one last question because when I had Alyssa on, she was like soups, and I love soups, and they're easy, they're quick. By the way, have you seen that app called Yucca?
I've heard of it. Haven't seen it yet though.
Oh my God, it's amazing. So you just you whip it, you download it on your phone, and then it's got a scanner, and whatever it is, you just scan the barcode, and it'll rate from 0 to 100. 100's the best, and it'll say, let's say 30, poor, and it'll tell you why. It'll tell you too much fat, too many additives, whatever. So I use that everywhere in the market. And,
let me ask you a question. Does it distinguish between good fats and bad fats?
No, it doesn't get that specific. But like I was thinking, canned soups can't be that good. But Amy's brand, there's like 100 out of 100 on a lot of them.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, I've heard so much about Dr. Gundry goes on about the lectins. So I'm so afraid to eat beans because a lot of the soups that I get, they're lentil soups, they're black bean soups. What are your feelings on that? Do I have to cut those out?
No, you have to cut them out. And I love Dr. Gundry. I had him as a guest on my Sugar Summit a few years back. And I love his whole approach to diet. And I think the whole lectin thing is actually, it's very powerful. So like when I'm going to have quinoa, like I'll soak the quinoa first to get rid of those anti-nutrients. But like to make it easy, if you like go into the store and you buy like a can of Eden Organics Azuki beans, like I like Azuki beans better than black beans. They're less acidic. So like I'll make like what's called an Azuki butter cup. So I'll get like butter lettuce or romaine lettuce, and then I'll get some Azuki beans. But if you buy Eden Organics, they're pressure cooked already, and that's going to denature the lectins. So you just open up the can, you just rinse them, and I put them in. I'll just mash them up. I'll add some avocado, sliced vegetables, sprouts, sea salt, wrap it up.
Sounds amazing.
It's amazing.
That sounds amazing. So then these soups are not going to be good for me. You have to kind of soak them yourself.
Well, it depends on what the brand is actually doing. You know, if they are not pressure cooking them or soaking them, which, you know, again, I know like Eden Organics, that's why we buy those beans, because I know that they are, then they're okay. But listen, it's not.
If it's an organic soup, normally they're doing that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so if it says organic, I don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, Eden Organic is the brand name, and again, I have no affiliation to them, but I love them because what they do they pressure cook them, which is so important because that denatures the anti-nutrients in those beans. If you're having like wild rice or rice, you want to soak them. But at the end of the day, it's really more about like your gut. Like, you know, so many of these plant-based foods have lectins. And I find that with my clients that have a really imbalanced gut microbiome, they can't metabolize these things. So it's really about improving the function of your microbiome, getting your healthy bacteria stronger, eliminating the bad bacteria that's basically taking out your microbiome. And when you do that, when the food comes in, now you can assimilate those foods. You can digest those foods better. But if your gut is just like an acidic, inflammatory mess and you put those foods in, it's like gasoline on top of the fire.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Remember promo code TINA15 for all of his products. And then the best way to get a hold of you for like any kind of testing, would that be to DM you on Instagram or what?
You can definitely DM me on Instagram. If you go to the links in my bio, there's a link tree there. You will see the link right to the gut testing. And I believe my assistant probably sent you over the link to the gut testing as well. But yeah, if you go to my link in my bio on my Instagram page, you can find it there. And then if you want to check out the website where all the products are at, it's getoffyouracid.com. Yeah. And if you have any questions, like we're here to help you guys. This is don't live on that island. You know, we're here to get you through this or whatever you're going through. So please hit me up with any questions anytime. If you have more things that you want Tina and I to talk about or discuss, just DM her and we can do another live. I love doing
We're
live.
definitely doing another live when this product comes out. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Such a pleasure. I could talk to you all day, but I know you've got other things to do. So thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. D.
My pleasure, Tina. Thank you everybody for joining.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh.